Becoming a Pilates teacher is about so much more than just doing Pilates workouts. You're transitioning from taking Pilates classes to teaching your own session. In this video, we're going to review what you can expect during your Pilates teacher training program. In a teacher training program, there's going to be a blend between movement and study. So as part of this study, it's not just learning more about the exercises, it's learning information that's going to support the classes that you're teaching, such as anatomy, history, special considerations, contraindications, cues, all these different elements. And what's most important to know is how to apply this for when you're actually teaching a Pilates class. So you may know all the anatomy and special considerations, like if they come to you and they say, I really can't kneel on my knees, can you do something different? You know those swaps, but you don't have to explain that in every single class. You would do that on a case-by-case basis. So all of that is really important because it's how you teach an effective and safe class. What you'll also be focusing on are the exercises. And something that I hear quite often is, I am learning so much. Like, I thought I knew about Pilates. And you could be moving with Pilates for years, yet part of a teacher training program is to understand the entire method, which means you're going to learn pre-Pilates exercises, ideally, all the way up to advanced level work. And many times you may be familiar with common exercises, such as 100 or swimming. And there's other movements that we don't teach quite as frequently, or we don't teach the fullest expression, like rocking or controlled balance, because they're very advanced level exercises and not suitable for everyone or in a larger group class. So as a Pilates teacher, many times I'll teach a different variation and may not even call it by that exercise name. Now, that's not anything that I get into when I'm actually teaching my Pilates classes, but you will be exploring this during your teacher training program. Right now, I thought it would be helpful to talk about 3 common challenges that people experience. These are physical, mental, and emotional. And I don't want to discount these, and they also shouldn't be a barrier to enroll, because whenever you think about making progress, there needs to be challenge in some way. So when you consider the physical challenges of many of the Pilates exercises, that Pilates is meant to intelligently challenge you, hopefully like any type of workout system, so that you may learn a very advanced level exercise and know that in your mind, but you may also layer on, you know what, that exercise isn't suitable for me for the fullest expression. Or maybe it is, and there's a learning curve of learning a more advanced level exercise like corkscrew, and you just have to give yourself time to do that, for your body to adapt. Next is the mental challenges that we face, because you're going to be learning a lot where it's going to feel like a lot of input coming in, and some things will feel familiar, but there's going to be a lot new as well, and taking time to figure out how best you learn. For a lot of people, that what we're learning with like anatomy, for instance, for lower body, we can learn that up here, but then how does it make sense in our body? So can you make this experiential? A lot of Pilates teacher training programs will take you through the experiential movement of the body, or just like feeling into it as well. What I also like to layer on is, say that you did a lower body anatomy session, is next time you come to a Pilates class, think about how that applies to moving your body with different Pilates exercises. So it's starting to put anatomy in motion into action with your Pilates practice. There will also be times that you know things really well in your mind, but you're having a hard time translating them in your body, or vice versa. Your body may be really comfortable with them, but understanding like the reasons why we do exercises or different variations is just going to take a little bit longer. So it's that mind-body connection that we're really after in Pilates and during your teacher training program as well. Then there's the emotional component where in the beginning there's this excitement and that kind of drives you through the initial stage of the teacher training. And then maybe self-doubt starts to creep in. For a lot of people, it's when we start practice teaching. And we can practice teach in a lot of different ways. One way is teaching other people, which hopefully your teacher training program focuses on. And yet I found a really simple way to get through kind of that uncomfortable element of practice teaching is teach yourself. So as you're learning the exercises, say you already know the 100, but you've never taught the 100, to practice teach it just out loud to yourself and see how it goes. What cues do you use? Where do you stumble? And these kind of little mini practice assignments that you're doing just all by yourself in your own room, no one else is there, can really help prepare you then for more of the official practice teaching that you're doing. With this element, you'll see a big evolution, and we want to see this during your teacher training program. You really want to experience this and not wait until the very end. You see, when I was going through my teacher training, I knew a lot of it in my body. I knew a lot of it up here in my mind. And then I went to teach someone, and it was like, I don't think I can do this. I can't teach Pilates. Like, I know it, but I was having such a hard time. It was with the kneeling tricep press exercise. And since my body was able to do that exercise with relative ease, like I just understood it, I didn't really need to overthink it. When I taught it to someone who's having a harder time both in their body getting into that position because of tightness and also just understanding it in their mind, I just had a whole bunch of self-doubt. And it would have been so much better for me to experience this while I was going through my teacher training program compared to after I earned my certificate of completion, because I could have asked my teacher trainers questions. And that's an element that we really want to focus on is as you meet these roadblocks and these self-doubts is to have someone, or hopefully a lot of people there, who can help you through that. So through your teacher training program, I really encourage you practice in a lot of different ways. Yes, your self-practice with movement and practice teaching, and bring your questions, because this is a time to gain clarity around maybe questions you have about the body, your class format, how you're actually teaching. And it's through this clarity and practice that you're going to gain confidence as well. And that's what you want to feel. You want to have clarity and confidence once you leave your teacher training program so that you can start being a Pilates teacher, because that's the goal after all. And your teacher trainer is going to offer a blend of encouragement and constructive feedback. And you really want both of these. If they only gave you encouragement and didn't give you helpful insight and reflection along the way, it's not really going to help you grow during your teacher training program. And if they only gave you that constructive feedback and didn't celebrate areas in which you were really excelling, well, that would feel really defeating. And so sometimes what happens, I've noticed for so many people, is they may know 80%, like they're rocking it, doing really well, and they'll focus just on the 20% that feels a little sticky, that they don't quite know, that they just need more time with. And so I always encourage you self-reflect. Highlight, what do you feel really comfortable with? What exercises do you know, and the variations to them as well? And you'll keep learning those through the program. What areas do you need to circle back to? This was highlighted once during a class that I was teaching. We were focusing on the double leg kick exercise. And the double leg kick has a very specific, I would almost say, choreography. When the head is tilted and turning, how the fingers are interlaced, or if you choose this hand grip option. And the person was struggling with the hand grip, like where exactly was that? She just had to take a break from it and come back to it at a later time. And sometimes we'll see that as something that you can use for your own practice and as a teaching strategy, that if you're having a hard time, just time out, take a break. You can even be coming back to it next week and seeing if you can go back in to refine the nuances of the exercises, because you want to have clarity in how they are, because that's going to help you teach. But sometimes we just need a little breather. The biggest reminder I have for you is to take it day by day and don't get too far ahead of yourself. So often when people review the entire curriculum plan, like everything they're going to be learning within a teacher training program, they get really overwhelmed. For any well-structured Pilates teacher training program, they're going to make sure that it's developed over the course of the time that you're going through that training. So beginning with really foundational level work, and after that foundational level work, it's my suggestion, just check in. What do you feel really confident in? What would be helpful to go back and review? What questions do you have? And ask your teacher trainer questions. The more that you invest in this, the more valuable it's going to be for you. And you do that after every phase. And at the end, you realize how far you've come. Now, a well-rounded teacher training program is going to include some of the different elements that I just mentioned, but if you want more insight into a well-rounded Pilates teacher training program, make sure that you click on the video you're seeing right now.